What's good, YouTube? Back here with another video. Before we get to the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get into it.
Have always been a thing in this world, and it's inevitable people get them. Each generation has had a different set of ones affect them more compared to the next. Boomers were more addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, being the victim of the tobacco industry and having them pay off doctors to say things like this.
You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a camel's always a pleasure.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna
folks,
lie.
the pleasing mildness of a camel is just as enjoyable to
see
a
how
doctor as it is to you or
cigarette-
me.
But hey, it's all good. They made it for that stress by beating their millennial children
Is
for asking them to get a
any
toy.
good.
Millennials and Gen X are more addicted to alcohol and prescription drugs, and also posting the most cringe content you'll ever see on TikTok. I guess that's what happens when you were the victim of the generation that would beat you just because. You know what? If they're having fun on their side of the internet, I'm happy for them. And of course we end up with the dump of all that, which is Gen Z. But I think we're kind of different because before you had to do a little more searching in the past generations to get that addiction. You know, like have the money to buy a cigarette or alcohol. But now because of the digital age, it's made it almost impossible for Gen Z to not have an addiction. The amount of people in Gen Z who just have an addiction casually and we act like it's normal is kinda insane. We were the first test group of the internet's effect on a younger generation, and now that everyone's on the internet 24/7, like 90% of people have an addiction
because of the internet.
so I want to
That
talk
makes
about
sense.
all the ones that are getting pushed and more amplified with us, I would say. And we could start off with food. Okay, food didn't start with us, and Gen
God
Z
damn,
isn't
you
even
fill
the
that
baddest
motherfucker up.
generation. But because of online ads and social media ads, it's very easy to push. We haven't even paid attention to the thought of how many food delivery apps we have. Bro,
That is
growing up,
we
I
do have
remember
a
the
lot.
most you could deliver to your house was a pizza. It would be late night, and if you were craving something and didn't want to drive to an actual physical location, your ass had to order some Domino's or Papa John's. I know it had to suck working at one of those places back then, though, because the amount of prank calls that would go viral on YouTube of people
Oh yeah,
just
they
trolling
did.
them was
I ain't
astronomical.
gonna lie, them prank calls used to go crazy though. Like with the most stupidest orders.
Like this channel Ownage pranks used to go A1 back in the day. Bro would spout the most stereotypical racist accent to a worker and ruin their day. And you don't even need the delivery apps anymore. If you just download the fast food apps, they get it delivered for you. You know, you got your Chick-fil-A's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Food, Chipotle, wait, what? Yeah, believe it or not, that was a real delivery service app until it got
What?
taken down. I wonder how such a family-friendly thing could violate Apple's terms of service. And if you download one of these food apps, you could save like half your costs by using them. They make it easier than ever to get big backed because they'll give you the best
Yeah, they
deals
definitely
ever
do.
that for some reason they don't offer if you don't order on the app. And quarantine
They
at
like
my
40%
biggest
off.
backings, I was trapping
All
off
that
that
shit.
McDonald's app getting a free large fry with a $1 purchase. You got with 2 million McDonald's points who order basically every day for the past 4 years. At that point, do you get to meet Ronald McDonald or something? Because that has to deserve some type of reward. TikTok got
You gotta be
the
able to do something
biggest
with that.
influence for food nowadays, though. Because how many times have you seen a food spot on TikTok and it's near
New
you? And you
reviews.
think to yourself, well, damn, now I gotta try it to see what the hype is. With traveling nowadays, everyone's go-to when looking for food is going to TikTok to see what the people are saying is the best. I always think how insane Keith Lee's come up was, and it shows how big backed we really are. Because he quite literally will go to a food spot, give a review, and all it takes is a God damn, that's good.
Yeah.
And the whole restaurant is fully booked up for the rest of the year. That's not a diss either, by the way. You know what I'm saying? We
That's
have
just how it
Keith Lee
go.
over here. And then you got those mukbang videos that became popular where they're eating gargantuan masses of food. I learned that some people watch these because they want to
Yo, I don't be understanding how you could watch somebody eat like that. Like, I'm sorry, like you couldn't catch me watching somebody eat for an entire video.
feel like they're literally eating the food, but their stomach can't take it, so they watch someone else do it. I don't know what the is wrong with them.
I don't
I
know.
just get sick
I
and want
just
to
feel
yak
like
out a car window.
I'm watching
after
somebody
looking
eat
at
themselves to
these.
death.
If you eating like this, you dead ass abusing your stomach wall lining. Next, we got vaping. For all the people who watch me and vape, I just want to let you know you're bigger than the vape. So do me a favor and
that shit
put
down.
it down for your health now and your future. And pick up a cigarette like a real I always find it so insane that our generation was bombarded with PSAs about smoking and the harmful effects of it. Everyone
then
ended
getting
up
the vape.
thinking we wouldn't be affected by it as much and be a much more healthy generation. Until they released flavors with the name Mango Cherry Freeze and Fortnite carts that no one knows the origin of to change minds instantly. I knew our generation was gonna be the most addicted to it when I would walk in the school bathroom and casually see two in a stall with clouds of smoke coming out of it. And you'd have some dude on lookout paying attention to the sound of the jingling of keys to tell if a staff member was around or not. Then they start fumbling around and waving the smoke around to try to hide it. I didn't even know how bad it was at first though, until I found out kids in elementary school are doing it too.
Whoa,
As a kid in elementary school, where the fuck are you getting the money to even afford that? Are you selling your rare Fortnite skins or something and then ordering them on eBay? According to statistics, 3.5% of middle schoolers in America vape as well. Low key, we gotta bring back those scary anti-smoking ads. Because I remember when I was a kid.
I ain't gonna lie, them ads used to hit like niggas did not want no hole in their fucking neck. We would not touch those. We need something for vape, something, because that's crazy. Middle schoolers, that's crazy.
Being terrified of the thought of smoking. They would show the diagram of a healthy lung versus smoker lung, and I would have nightmares for the rest of the week. And no, you can't quit at any time. If you're somebody that has to sit there and reason with your friends like you're making a deal on Wall Street that you can, then let me introduce you to the last stage of grief, acceptance. It's okay to accept the fact that the rest of your friends are gonna live amazing, willingful lives until 80, 90, or 100. And at 40, you're gonna drop randomly in your kitchen after those mango cherry freeze chemicals reach your heart. And weed smokers, where y'all going? Cause y'all ain't safe from this either. In general, I think out of a weed smoker and vape smoker, the weed smoker is usually more healthy. Mainly because the product doesn't have mysterious chemicals imported from a factory.
I don't know about that. They be lacing the shit out that weed, so I don't know about that one.
In Beijing. Nowadays, though, they be lacing the hell out of that weed, so I don't even know about that anymore.
That's what I say.
You could be picking up what you think is some regulars off from your local dealer, and it ends up being laced with fent, raccoon, and pee. The most annoying thing about weed smokers is they do the same thing as vape smokers, saying they can quit at any time, but they'll also argue with you, saying it makes them more productive, and they'll bring up successful people.
Yo, the moment they start smoking, bro, all hell breaks loose. Like they are not this. They're literally like in a rage. Like they be angry, all types of shit. Like can't focus, can't do none of it. Some of them focus a little better, but nah, they can't.
People that do it as an example, like I don't know, Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa. The person saying it though, 99% of the time is never productive. Like you ask them what they did through the week, and it's take a shower once, rage on Valorant, goon to Sophie Rain, then smoke 7 times. If you're not one of those productive people using it, then you can't say it. And you'll also never be as productive as someone sober in that time. It's so bad, you got who will work the whole week, then half of their paycheck is going to some rolling papers and that flight duck pack. I think the reason—
Man, I will say this though. Weed smokers, I don't know how they do it, but they come up with the bread for that shit. Cause smoking is expensive, and then they be smoking every single day. Like, you know how much money they waste with that shit?
And why the rise of addictions and smoking weed is because it's so easy to access nowadays. They got whole apps meant to deliver strains to people, and you can go on Snapchat and casually see 10 dealers in a 1-mile radius. Back then, people were scared of getting caught, especially when the internet wasn't a thing. Plus, it was a lot more penalized, so people didn't take the risk. Next, we got gooning. I already made a whole video on this, so we don't gotta spend a lot of time on this. But the algorithms nowadays, more than ever, are meant to fuel horniness. Like, have y'all ever opened your Instagram feed or TikTok feed and they're literally throwing it in your face? No matter how many times I click not interested, it doesn't work. I think they have the button there just for fun. The best platform I see optimized where I don't see it is YouTube, because my algo is built brick by brick. It still happens though, trust me. Like somebody watching this probably got some freaky AI chatbot ad. But on Instagram and TikTok, they purposely don't listen to me. I just want one person to do some research on these algorithms and see if they got a horny piece of code written in there. A lot of people also talk about why were we so sexual at a young age, which is kind of true, you know, when I think about it. It's a mix of things. One being the internet, although it's not as bad as now. Like a Gen Alpha kid with unmonitored access in 2025 is probably gonna win this corn at the age of 7. Probably a mix of us looking at these Disney stars when we were kids and thinking of some freaky The crazy thing to me was the shift of how OF stars and corn stars were perceived. Back then, I remember when a girl got leaked, it was the worst.
Man, that girl would be on suicide watch. Like, if not suicide watch, she would be moving town the next day. Like, she not now it's just like they be bragging about this shit. I mean, like I know the older heads be like, yo, y'all young niggas is lucky, cause like the shit that we had to do to get this access, to get this stuff, like we had to go to the moon and back to get this shit. They just giving it out for $5.99.
worst thing to happen to her life. Like her whole sacred temple was exposed to the world. Or just somebody ousted as doing that line of work. They would never want that info out. But nowadays, if you see a link tree in that bio, it's like a Russian roulette of if you'll see an OnlyFans link or not. It's just a casual thing now to see someone naked online. Never in my life growing up I would think someone I went to high school with would start one, but I'm about 0 to 3 wrong, so good thing I didn't put a bet on that. Oh, and speaking of bets, gambling is next. Parlays have by themselves ruined the financial dreams of millions of Gen Z. Because with parlays, it feels like you're not putting much up. And if you already hate your job or you're trying to make it out, you're gonna take the risk and throw in something you can lose.
Niggas be like, oh yeah, my last $20, put that bitch in a parlay. Like, and then lose that shit by like 1. And now them niggas ain't got no bread.
It was like $10 or $20. But that ends up adding up, and as you keep losing, you end up losing like half your week's salary over some stupid ass prediction. My opinion is sports gambling is way more of a problem for us than traditional gambling. Like, I feel like that was the problem more back then. Although we definitely got our addicts for that too. Kick as a platform is pretty much meant as a funnel to stake where you can play slots to your heart's desire. Sports betting wouldn't even be that bad if everyone doing it actually had the disposable income to. But there should be no reason your whole paycheck is going on a bet. And it's really hard to stop because when you do get those wins, you always think you could get one potentially with another bet. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a whole lot more of sports betting app ads a lot. It makes no sense too because I live in Texas. I can't even gamble here. So why are they even pushing it here when it's banned? Like, it makes 0 sense to me. It's almost like they know people can use VPNs to do it anyways. And they be giving some crazy ass bonuses just for you to join and make a single bet. Like, who wouldn't take a free $100 to bet for just a tiny risk of forever being indebted to the app and watching every single one of the 500 bets you made in the past week? Just a tiny risk though. The sports betting industry growth is so insane when you look at the chart. Just 7 years ago, it was only $209 million, and now it's around $4 to $6 billion. If this ain't an indication of a recession, then I don't know what is. People's doing anything to get money. I guarantee there's some dads out there risking their paycheck and if their kids get to eat just to see if the bet will hit of LeBron getting over 40 points in a game. Next, we got caffeine. And it's time to be open and honest, y'all. This is probably the thing I match closest with. My excuse is, though, I only take pre-workout on days I work out, which is 5 days in a week. Not really a good excuse, though, but trust me, I can quit anytime. I just need a little powder spray.
Nah, I don't do no pre-workout.
Caffeine addiction is probably the easiest one to get because when you're tired in a day and need a little boost, it's one of the few legal substances you can take to boost your energy. Sadly, they banned the original Coke formula, but I've heard there's ways to get around it. It also doesn't help that on TikTok, people will post their favorite coffee recipes or drink they got at Starbucks. Then people run to the store to get the exact same one to see what the hype is about. Everybody all of a sudden also started drinking matcha and making matcha everything. Matcha coffees, matcha pancakes, matcha noodles. A couple of years ago, would have seen something like this and fried you on the internet for even having it. But now all you gotta do is post the trying matcha noodles on TikTok and people will love it just because it's matcha. Where the f did all this matcha talk come from?
What is
like,
matcha?
Matcha is cool to me.
I don't know what matcha
but how did
is.
they get to the point where we're facing potential global shortages of it because everyone's having it? Also, having energy drinks is more commonplace now. Like, I remember in the past, if you told someone you was drinking—
Man, look, I drink energy drinks when I'm really, really tired, but like if I have to. But I remember when I was a kid and I seen a video, it was a Red Bull video. And the dude, his heart was literally beating out his chest. Like, literally, you could see his heart beating out his chest. I said, oh no, I'm not doing that.
energy drinks. They thought you were cooked, providing for 4 different families on a 1-man salary while getting 4 hours of sleep. Every company now, for some reason, has their own line of energy drinks. Like, who is dead ass drinking the Toxic Waste energy drink and the Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink? Actually, that last one might not be too bad. Might just have me a grab it. I think caffeine addiction is also rising too because a lot more people are sleep deprived nowadays. It's a blessing for real if you can get 8 full hours of sleep.
That's
in this
facts.
time. So when people are tired, they say, why not? Let me just get 1 energy drink for the day. There is a very big risk with it though, and we can't forget. Energy drinks have only been getting used a lot more in the past 2 decades, so we still don't have long-term studies on their effects. And there's even tragic cases about it, like the case of Katie Donnell. Katie Donnell was a 28-year-old teacher and fitness enthusiast, and she always tried to live a healthy lifestyle and had a lot of caffeine through the day as one of the things. She would have 3 energy drinks a day and a caffeine supplement on top of that before going to the gym. And by the way, the recommended recommended max amount of caffeine you're supposed to have in a day is 400 milligrams. Depending on how much caffeine those drinks had, she could have been having like 2x or 3x the daily limit. But even if they were smaller amounts, I think we can all agree that
That's
just
still
the
crazy.
sound of having 3 energy drinks a day is insane.
Crazy.
And in 2021, Katie had a heart attack and had to be put in the hospital, where 10 days later, she sadly passed away from the effects of it. So if you're near having 3 drinks a day, it might be time to reconsider how many you're having. The best schedule for people that do want to have caffeine is 5 days a week with at least 2 days off it. The more you have it, the more tolerant you get to it. So it's always better to have a little reset just so the effects still hit. It's also a problem too that kids are now starting to have energy drinks. When Prime released its energy drinks, there was parents complaining that
I'm not gonna lie, kids should not have energy drinks. There's no reason on this earth why a kid needs energy drinks. You should have the most energy while you're a kid. There's no reason why kids should have energy drinks.
their kids were having them and it was causing problems. I don't know what type of stress these is even going through to be having energy drinks.
Yes.
I only started drinking them after having some adult type responsibilities. Before 18, I wasn't having them. And once again, parents strike again at not monitoring their kids, because how do they even get access to these energy drinks? Since I said I only have them when I work out, we might as well throw gym in there as an addiction. Some of y'all might think it's odd that gym is here, but if you see how fitness social media is now, you know how bad it can get. There's been a lot more of a rise in gym influencers since 20.
I wouldn't say the gym is an addiction per se. I would say that steroids are an addiction. Steroids and like creatine, all that, like all the supplements that come with the gym, I would say that. But like the gym itself, I wouldn't say it's addiction.
20. I'm glad the gym is becoming way more popular though, because in general it's good for everyone's health. But the lengths some people take to look like some of the influencers online is unbelievable. It's universally known now that a lot of influencers online straight up use performance enhancing drugs to look the best. One of the biggest known cases I would say is The Rock. Everyone knows for his physique at his age, it's almost impossible for him to look like this without taking some type of performance enhancing drug. He always denies it and says he doesn't use them, which no one believes. Because when your job is to look the best, a lot of these influencers and celebs feel like they have no choice but to take them to keep up with everyone. And people in the gym community point out all the time who may be fake or real. One of the biggest gym influencers on YouTube's job is literally predicting from years of experience what influencer or celeb transformation is real or fake. But even if the influencers doing it are natural, it's never good to compare yourself, because their entire job is meant to look good. Like, they can spend hours at a time in the gym.
Man, let me be able to go to the gym twice a day for 2-3 hours a day. Man, you wouldn't be able to tell me shit.
Every day to look like that. Meanwhile, the average person usually gets out of school or work and can have 1 or 2 hours max. And it leads to people thinking they have to take the same drugs those influencers are taking. Nowadays, there's people who will show their journey through taking steroids or testosterone casually. I guess it's kinda good they're being honest, but like, can you imagine people did this for any other drug? Imagine a meth addict showing their journey of taking it through the years.
Nah,
And the
that would
people
be
taking
crazy.
these drugs are getting younger and younger because they look up to these guys, ruining their whole body before it even got time to fully develop. It's okay to accept the fact that you probably won't reach their level, and if you do, it'll just take you significantly longer, which is fine. Like, bro, you got decades of your life to reach that type of build if you want to. You don't gotta rush it when you're young. And the reality is, you probably won't even want to keep up with that type of physique because it'll be too much work.
Yeah, that's the only, like, that's a lifestyle. At that point, it's a lifestyle, and you gotta keep up with that shit. But also, people don't tell you about the gym though. At some point in time, you're gonna hit a slowdown. So like I said, you can be doing the same thing every day, and eventually your body will just, your metabolism and all that shit will slow down. So you'll start gaining. You start gaining weight or losing your physique because your body has just gotten used to it.
The last category we got, which 90% of my audience will relate to, is unemployment. Unemployment is the new cool lifestyle that everyone's getting into.
I'm 34.
34? Okay, what do you do?
I am a risk taker. I'm a road runner. I'm an entrepreneur.
I mean, think of it. You can nibble off of someone else's work for free while laying down on a couch and watching your favorite TV show. Society's become so cooked that anyone who quits their job, or anyone who's applied to more than 5 and got denied, just give up and decide to live that lifestyle. You even mention the word job to certain and they start quivering in fear for their life. You know what? I'm feeling pretty evil today. Let's go ahead and go on a TOS run to get me packed out of here real quick. And I do want to put a disclaimer. What you're about to hear may be disturbing. Job. employment, working, career, business, profession, operation. I feel free being able to say what I want. I feel like the world is in the palm of my hand. For some reason, even though it feels like no one is getting a job now, we're actually reaching low levels of employment, well, at least compared to 2020. Moment of silence for all my who were looking for a job during COVID. Glad that wasn't me, because God knows where I would be right now. The thing that's doomed Gen Z is as soon as finally started to get their degrees and get ready for the real world, AI had to advance at levels we never thought possible. I might have to make a video on just this alone. Man, we all thought AI would take jobs like fast food and have robots flipping burgers, but that's it. Now you got AI that can code entire websites for free. You got AI that automatically run YouTube channels and generate them unlimited money. And for us, it was a big rush of people getting STEM degrees because everyone was saying that was the speed run to get a 6-figure job. It's great to know that all those degrees are completely useless now that those jobs are taken by AI. So no wonder everyone's giving up and are embracing their unemployment. And when GTA 6 drops, mark my words, will quit their jobs just to have time to play this once-in-a-lifetime game. I'm truly scared for the job market in that moment. Hospitals are gonna be—
Look, man, we've been waiting for almost 13 years for this GTA. We gonna play this shit.
empty from doctors and nurses trying to finish the GTA 6 storyline. So anyways, that's about it. If you don't align close to any of the things I mentioned, then congrats, you're one of the special ones. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
To Morocco, I got pretty women showing titties like I'm Flacco. I came in a hard top, I'm still in the drop.